Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for a very interesting report, and that is Stephen Kitshoff potentially set to return to South Africa after just one season at Ulster, with the prop potentially negotiating an early exit from his Ulster 3-year deal to make a return to the Western Cape franchise. Before we sort of go into some of the details exactly how this might work, whether it's a good move or a bad move, and some of the sort of logistics around the move, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. The Stormers captain departed for Belfast at the end of last season, where he has made, I think, about 12 appearances for Ulster so far this season. I wouldn't say it set the world alight for Ulster, but you know, as a loose head in a team that's not playing great rugby, is struggling with a little bit of set piece, it's difficult for him to really make an impact, and he's a world-class player, there's no doubt about that. But Ulster are going through a bit of a bad period, not just from a performance point of view. They currently sit in 8th position on the URC log, but have had lots of issues off the park. So we did see them lose their head coach earlier in the season, and last week, although 2 weeks ago, I think, have also lost their chief executive. So Dan McFarlane moving, and then Johnny Petrie moving, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So big changes coming at the top or the leadership side of Ulster, and with it, we expect to see a lot of changes within the team with regards to a new strategy, potentially a new look squad, as to what the future does hold. Now, apparently, with the potential cash injection coming from the Red Dice Corporation, which has officially completed a takeover of the Stormers, there can now be funds to be able to bring Stephen Kitshoff back on a similar contract that he is in Ireland, as well, and in terms of being able to afford that, being able to go to SA Rugby and see if they can possibly contribute towards his salary to try and make this move worth it. Now, I think this is a move that could work potentially for all parties. There's no doubt he's coming on quite a big contract over at Ulster, and if they need to rebuild, which they probably do, then offloading some wages is probably a good way to do that. Now, the question is, do they have someone that can step in place of Stephen Kitshoff and reduce the effects of a World Cup, double World Cup winning prop leaving the side. And that's sort of what they need to sort of weigh up, don't they? In terms of who their marquee players, where do they want to spend their money? Where do they need to spend their money? And if they decide that Stephen Kitshoff may be potentially a player that is not as important as potentially other parts, then maybe they would be very, well, it sounds like they are open to potentially releasing him from his contract, which is supposed to run for a further 2 seasons. Apparently, the idea was always that he would potentially be making a move back to Western Cape, back to the Stormers after the Ulster move. And allegedly, the Stormers are currently talking about a move as soon as next season. There was a story that came out in the report, which is very, very reputable. And the quote over there from the source said that the agreement was always that he would come back at some stage, but when is the factor? He apparently had a meeting or was seen with John Dobson at a restaurant earlier that last week, before the head of their clash against the Stormers in the week, and apparently there was a discussion of potentially early return. And again, the only reason that was potentially possible is because Stormers have been sort of at board taken over by the equity partner Red Dice, and with that, they potentially could have a cash injection to be able to afford his contract. I think it'd be a great move. Obviously, the Stormers desperately need him. They've had a bit of a loose head crisis this season. Steve Tolius had injuries, Lisa Borkers had injuries. Alec Marquardt and Blosser all currently injured, so they've really not been able to cope without him. It's been a position they've really struggled with this season, not from a lack of players, but just from all being injured. And there's no doubt about the fact that Stephen Kitshoff is a level above what they currently have. I mean, he used to play 70, 75 minutes almost every single week, because he is of that sort of quality, not to mention the fact that he was the captain, for example. So he's a massive part of that Stormers' success over the last few years. So I do think it's a move that might suit all parties. Whether it'll happen, well, we'll have to wait and see. If you're a Stormers fan, what do you think? Is the move that would obviously really excite you? I think obviously would. But more important, as an Ulster fan, would you mind losing him? Do you think it will be a big loss, or do you think it's one of those things that must, from a greater picture point of view, this could be a potential solution to free up some wages and to try and spend the money elsewhere to try and rebuild this Ulster squad and make them genuine challengers in the URC? I want to know what you think down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.